Hello, and welcome to KSS Program's Computer Science Online Lessons. Today, we'll be covering lesson number 7, an introduction to JavaScript. Our lesson is divided in 5 sections. JavaScript Basics, a brief history. In the mid-90s, Netscape Navigator was a widely used browser and in direct competition with Microsoft's Internet Explorer to develop the next upgrades in web browsing. Brendan Eich, who later co-founded the Mozilla project, was hired by Netscape and by 1995 developed JavaScript. Why? HTML had already been developed years earlier, but was limited to static content. JavaScript allowed the incorporation of dynamic content such as animations, user interactions, and other forms of automation, much of what we see today. Due to the rising popularity of Java, a programming language of its own, and the already existing simplicity of HTML, JavaScript was developed with simplicity and integration in mind. It features simple syntax, but powerful in execution, and seamless integration with HTML. Fundamentals. JavaScript is the most popular and most widely used programming language for web page development and considered foundational for aspiring programmers. JavaScript actions are triggered and executed within HTML code. HTML often forms the foundation of a web page, while JavaScript makes the final adjustments and adds complex, interactive, and dynamic content. JavaScript functions. Like functions in any other programming languages, the JavaScript function is a block of code that performs a particular task when invoked. Example functions include displaying a slideshow once navigating to a site, appearing and disappearing logos as user scrolls, displaying a message when a visitor logs in or out of a site, and interactive calculator for long car trips. Function must be defined. In JavaScript, we do this with the function keyboard followed by a name of your choosing and then followed by a parenthesis. Within the parenthesis, we include our parameters. The actual code to be executed is then enclosed within ellipses. Simple example function. Consider an example calculator web page that allows a user to calculate how far a car will travel, or maximum distance, on a certain number of gallons of fuel. This can be done by simply multiplying your car's fuel efficiency by the number of gallons of fuel in your tank. Let's consider 10 gallons of fuel with a 30-mile-gallon fuel efficiency. Okay, now let's first define our function. Let's take a second to go over the slide. The function will include the maximum distance calculation against fuel efficiency per gallon. Okay, now that it is defined, we can then call on it. For a calculator, we look at a result, and for our example, the result is a number. We would like to display this number in a result box. The result box will be programmed to call out the function max distance calculator number. The result box calls the function and will display a result, being in this case 300 miles based on the numbers. JavaScript Libraries. There are over 1 billion web pages. These web pages were not all uniquely developed. Programmers reuse code and should not waste time writing code that another programmer has already written and made available. A JavaScript library is a file that contains many commonly used and already developed functions for JavaScript. Popular libraries. jQuery, one of the most powerful libraries out there, with an estimated 50% of all websites having been built using it. It allows programmers to more easily manipulate the document object model, or DOM, for a page. D3.js. This library is great for visualizing data in custom bar graphics, line charts, pie charts, 3D graphics, etc. React.js. This library is Facebook's web development framework for creating user interfaces. JavaScript frameworks. The basics. You can think of building websites and web applications like building houses. While some build houses from scratch without plans or blueprints, this is not normally the case for JavaScript. JavaScript frameworks take common features and building blocks from different types of web pages and applications and makes them available in a more user-friendly manner. Some of the most popular frameworks are Meteor JavaScript. This is a full-service framework that allows users to design web page templates as well as to manipulate databases. Vue JavaScript. It allows programmers to easily design how a user can interact with a web page, as well as providing fast response times to render new objects or pages. Angular JavaScript. This framework is maintained by Google and can be thought of as the HTML for web applications. Simple to use and powerful. Okay, that will do it for today. I hope everyone enjoyed the lesson. If you have any questions, please send us an email at info@kssprograms.com. See you next time.